plan probably started 2 years ago. When I first told my parents, I said, I think Amory's the one. And I wasn't sure how to propose or what to do. And
Right.
so I'm kind of thinking about it. And my first thing was well, I got to get a ring. And so I mentioned this whole thing to my parents and my grandparents. And my mom and dad were like, well, you have some diamonds that we haven't given to you. One that's your mother's, that isn't a jewelry piece, and some that are your great grandparents. And we said, how about we take those, go to a jewelry store, and see what we can do and what you can come up with, whether it's in a setting that's already pre-designed or one that you kind of design yourself. And I kind of had a date in mind because I wanted to celebrate the milestone of graduating and use that as an excuse. So I rushed to the jewelry store and they're like, well, here's some options that we could use this with. And nothing looked right. And I was like, well, what if I design it? And they're like, well, that's a 2 to 3 month process because we have to make molds or whatever. And I was like, well, crap, this isn't going to work either. What am I going to do? And I'm using the same jeweler that my grandfather used for my grandmother, that my dad used for my mom, that my uncle used for his wife. So it's a family jeweler, and I wanted to stick with them. So I said, all right, what if I took a ring that was similar to this right here, and we took this base and asked the company that has made it and designed it, then said, can you make these modifications to it for me? And they said, well, that's a great idea. Let's see. So we got on the phone, and after an hour-long discussion, we hashed out somewhat of a design, and they were able to mock it up and send it to me. We made a couple other changes, and then finally it was shipped, and the jewels were set, and I went and picked it up. In the meantime, while all this is being done, I'm planning with our marketing media guy. I said, I want to make this big, and I want to be able to have something that's memorable. And I was like, again, using the ploy for graduation, let's go downtown, maybe have dinner at Via Vitae. Of course, there she is calling me. Have dinner at Via Vitae and do something down on the square. Have somebody there that can videotape it. And I wanted to incorporate magic. So what I did was, my father used to own a magic restaurant called Abracadabra, and we contacted the head magician, and my dad had a trick in mind that he thought might work. The trick incorporates a deck of cards, and basically what he would do is he would ask or force Amory. We'd walk up and he'd be like, hey, would you like to see a magic trick? Or somehow of that nature, and he'd do a series of 3 tricks, and on the 3rd trick he would force a card on Amory. She would pick the card, look at it, keep it to herself, and set it down, and he's like, well, I'm going to make your card appear. And he pulls out the silk purse, and from the silk purse he pulls a red string, a red string, a blue string, and a black string. Or no, I think it's red, white, and black. Anyway, colors don't matter. Three strings. And he sets it down, and he unzips the silk purse and shows that it's completely empty, seals it back up, and he's like, we're each going to cut a string and drop it in there. I'm going to do abracadabra, alakazam, and he's going to reach in the bag and start to pull out a silk that is formed from the strings. And as he pulls the silk out, it has the presentation of a card on it. And so, for instance, let's say Amory's card was the 6 of diamonds. As he pulls it out, it'll be the 5 of diamonds on the silk. And it'll be like, ta-da, I got your card. And she'll be like, yeah, sorry, buddy, I think you're wrong. And he's like, really? What was your card? She'll either say 6 of diamonds or show him the card. And so then he'll say, so it's missing a diamond. And she'll be like, yes. And they'll pull it out the rest of the way, and her engagement ring will be hanging on the end of the silk. So then it would cut it off, and I'd drop to one knee and propose. So lo and behold, I decided that I didn't want to be a distraction with her finishing her senior year and not being set on what she wanted to do. So now that she's in grad school, and now that I've developed a little bit more in what I'm doing and what my future holds, I've decided that now's the time, and it's going to happen tomorrow. I hope you're excited.
I brought along with me tonight a deck of playing cards. And I'd like you to notice that it happens to be a full deck. I always like to play with a full deck, and most people tell me they appreciate that. Now what I'm going to do is mix the cards up just a little bit, and we'll have a little magical fun. Now, Anne-Marie, would you be willing to select a card for me, please? Okay. Now, you can pick any card you want, but when I ask people to pick a card like this, they tell me it's not fair. Do you know why? Yeah, they say you can see the cards. In fact, most people tell me if I turn the cards over, they'd feel better about that. Would that make you feel better?
Whatever you would like to do.
Okay. I'll be glad to turn them over, but actually I can still see the cards. I mean, they're right there. So tell you what, just to ensure you get a random card, I'm going to riffle through the decks, sort of like that. I want you to say stop wherever you like, and we'll stop and get a card for you. Are you ready? Here we go. Right there? Or do you want me to go a little further? Right there? You're sure? You want to lock it in?
Yes.
Final answer?
Yes.
Okay. The card you select is under the 7 of hearts. Would you please take that card, but don't let me see it. But I want you to look at it. In fact, you can show it to James. I won't look. All right? Now just leave the card down on the table. And I'm going to show you something special I brought along with me tonight. I have a kind of an unusual bag here. You'll notice there is a zipper on the bottom. Would you please unzip that for me? And we're going to do it a little carefully over the table because there's something that's going to fall out. Yeah. All right. Now I have 3 spools of thread and a little cutting utensil. And Anne-Marie, I would like for you to select one of the colors, the white, the red, or the black. Okay, would you pick it up? James, would you pick one of the 2 remaining spools, the white or the black? Okay, that leaves white for me. Next, what I'd like you to do is let's go ahead and take some of the thread off of the spool. You can take as little or as much as you'd like. Whenever you are done, just use the cutting utensil and we will trim the thread here. Put the spool down. Okay. There we go. And you can put your thread right here. There we go. Excellent. All right. Would you please zip the bag back up for me? And let's go ahead and put the thread in. James, can you see your black thread there? Let's go ahead and put that in. And Anne-Marie, if you put the red in, you did just a little bit of red, nice accent. And I'm going to take the white thread and put it in. Now I want you to watch very carefully. You're about to see an amazing thing. Abracadabra. Hocus pocus. This is no jocus. What? You're not impressed. Okay, maybe this will impress you. I want you to notice the thread is woven together and made a little handkerchief. And you'll notice on the handkerchief is a card. Look familiar? What do you mean, no? I said abracadabra, hocus pocus. This is no jocus. What do you mean? It doesn't look familiar. It should match your card.
The one that I put down on the table.
Well, what card did you get? Let me see. Looks like we've got a diamond missing. Hold on,
Anne Marie Christine Cadnar.